Hey guys, let's check it out. Hey guys, it's Gunter here from Outdoorphoto, and I would like to chat to you about the Z63 versus the Z5 II. Two incredible bodies that have come out from Nikon's side in terms of mirrorless technology. I've been taking these things out. We ducked out of the shop just to try and test them with different lenses. We went up to one of the schools nearby. My kids are playing there, and it's kind of an easy setup because I have repetitive things. My son's running around, he's fast, his mates are they're all happy, the parents are getting images, so everybody's happy. But the gist of it is that I want to go and test out what these cameras' capabilities are and how they actually compare up between one another. Now, the biggest issue that we've got in these, what are we looking at? What is it that you are looking at? What do you want? And man, I don't know if you're going to be happy with the answer and the conclusion right at the end of this. But let me run the gist of it past you. With the Z63, we've got a full frame 24 megapixel camera. Frame rate is great. The electronic shutter goes up to 16,000th of a second, does 8,000th of a second on the mechanical shutter. So does the Z5 II. But the Z63 does 6K video in 60 frames. It just offers you that little bit extra that you can crop in if you want to change an angle or composition or whatever in your frame that you've recorded. You've just got more information to work with. So 6K is a bonus, especially if you're doing it at 60 frames per second versus 4K. Is it a deal breaker? I wouldn't think so. If you ask me, I'm still shooting in 1080p, but that's probably because I'm grey. The bigger focus around this is how do these things perform? And I think the biggest difference that I found in these, taking them out, shooting stills, both phenomenal quality. The low light handling is excellent. The focusing was mind-blowing on the Z5 II. It feels like I have to label these things. They are so similar in size, weight, feel, look, shape, whatever. Obviously, looking at the external, we've got the mode dials on the one side. Over here, it's on the other side. So where you have a screen and information on this side, on the Z63, you don't have that available. I don't know when I use this. It really just blows my mind. I don't use that screen. I'm shooting in all the different brands. I've never... Hit me in the comments below, please, if you actually use this and how that benefits using just all the other information that's available in the viewfinder and on the back. I mean, all that shows to me is that there's a battery in the camera, because if the battery was out, that screen would have been completely dead. That is literally the only thing that I use those top screens for. So it kind of feels like, yeah, okay, they had the space, they used it, no problem. Now we go across to some of these settings and the adjustments on this. Obviously, you've got the lock dial on this little Z63 here, which is convenient. You're not going to bump it by accident. Because if you drop a camera and you're walking around and it just nicks your pants, boom, you've got it set onto a different mode or whatever. With this, you don't have that problem because the mode dial isn't there. It doesn't have a lock function though, so you can by accident change modes. Is it a deal breaker? Not to me. If we have a look at the different ports on this camera, I mean, you've got HDMI and everything else that you need on these. But here is the one big crux. Full HDMI. That is what you want. Z63, bonus, extra point for that one. That is something that kind of really draws my attention. And I've been one of the guys, if you go and dig in our archives, you'll find that I've actually mentioned in videos, I don't know what the issue is with small micro HDMI cable ports and why people have problems with them. We sell ultra thin cables here, they're super light, easy to work with, no issues on the gimbals. But I've come to realize that little port's cable breaks very easily. So the damage that you can pick up on a micro HDMI cable happens in no time. Just a little misplacement of the camera or a bump here and that cable is gone. The ports are pretty strong, they're tough and durable, but micro HDMI versus HDMI, give me a full HDMI, man, anytime. The rest of the functionality and the ports on this camera, no problem. Looking on the flip side of it, if we have a look at the memory card slots, Z63 offers you a CF Express Type B and an SD slot. The Z5 II offers you 2 SD slots, obviously being UHS 2 slots, so high performance SD cards, no problem. That's most likely why this one can handle the higher frame rate and higher resolution. The processors, XSpeed 7 on both of them, resolution very similar, video functionality on the Z63 definitely a bonus. It is like Nikon's found this pattern. They go from Z8, like a downscale, kind of difficult to explain, but it is downscaled. So you're definitely not getting a Z8. But if you have a look at the specs, this Z63 looks like a Z8. It feels, it focuses like a Z8 until you shoot a Z8, and then it doesn't. And it feels like they've repeated this whole cycle with a Z5 II. This thing definitely punches above its weight class. I mean, the image quality we got out of this, the dynamic range on the sensor, the sharpness. The thing that blew me away the most by far was the focusing on this. This one, 299 phase detection focus points. This one, 273 phase detection focus points. I'm not going to do the maths right now because that isn't a big enough gap for me to be a deal breaker. I mean, it just keeps on giving me this problem. Why should I fork out the extra money on a Z63 versus a Z5 II? And I want to tell you my opinion on this entire story. If we have a look at the custom button layouts and the menus and the functionalities and everything these two cameras have to offer, man, this thing punches above its weight class. This Z5 II performs phenomenally. The low light handling, the button layouts, the customization on the camera, there are some of the custom functions that I actually found on this camera that I couldn't find on the Z63, which is odd because this is supposed to be the baby version of that, but why does it have better options depending on how I want to customize it? So this question just keeps on repeating itself. Z5 II, Z63. Now looking at the image quality and looking at some of the finer intricacies that you will not find in spec sheets, lacquer, go on that takes something website or whatever, you go and hit the spec sheets or whatever, you go onto different sites. What they don't show in the spec sheets is the readout speed from these sensors. So even though both of them have mechanical shutters in them, both of them have electronic shutters, and all of a sudden your frame rate just absolutely ramps up into the sky. The issue with that is electronic shutter distortion. So looking at some of the images in terms of panning quickly or the kids running fast, things just seem distorted. Straight lines become slanted across. Similar, if you're going to photograph, the old tried and tested example is somebody swinging a golf club. If you photograph them from front, you'll see the distortion in that golf club and how it absolutely bends out of shape. It's not the golf club, it's how the readout from the sensor happens in these two cameras. So the functionality is there, but the practical use isn't necessarily there. Tiny issue. If you know about it, if you know how to apply it, the frame rate out of this is still phenomenal. You're still going to get incredible video and stills quality out of the Z5 II. And the price difference justifies the differences between the readout speed in this and the readout speed in this. The little nuances in terms of what this offers in video functionality, the recording, the focusing, man, it's good in the Z63. But I can't fault the focusing system in the Z5 II. And that again makes it difficult. And I don't think it justifies not going for a Z63. If you've tested them both, I think you'll be leaning more towards the Z63. It is such a difficult comparison. And the biggest thing that I found was the readout speed differences between Z63 and the Z52 sensors, and how that information relates to high frame rates. Are you photographing sports, action? The focusing is so close to one another that I cannot fault the Z52. The Z63 is faster. And it feels like it's these incremental jumps going from Z52 to Z63 to Z8. It is a perfect gap in between them. The problem is just actually seeing that gap, and you're not going to see it on a spec sheet. Guys, that's my conclusion. If you can't reach the Z8, buy a Z63. If you can't reach the Z63, buy a Z52. You're not going to make a mistake either way. It is incredible technology, and Nikon have had a bad start into the mirrorless systems. The Z6 was not great. The Z7 was not great. The Z62 and the Z72 fixed a lot of those issues. But all of a sudden, with the Z63, the Z8, the Z9, and now with the Z52, Nikon are an absolute beast to contend with in the mirrorless range. Great cameras, great options. I can't give you a conclusion to this. It's going to come down to your budget. This is incredible practical use. Dual SD card slots, I prefer that. Then you don't have to muck around with different types of cards and whatever. It's easier. But to reach the readout and the resolution that the video offers on this, I understand why they went with CF Express. It's why they did it with the Z8. This is just a rinse and repeat. It's going to be the exact same thing no matter what we're going to discuss. Z52, what a little powerful camera. I look forward to using it more often. If you're getting into vlogging, if you're getting into video, if you're getting into stills, if you're looking for something that's going to deliver incredible video quality and stills quality, Z52, highly recommended. If you can do the extra reach, go Z6. The readout from it, the extra resolution you get on the video side of things, what a system. Guys, hit me up in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Hit me up about this little thing and who uses these screens, and if it isn't something that's actually become outdated and pointless. Looking forward to hearing your feedback. Tell me what you think about these cameras. Thanks.